Okay guys, this is going to be part one on restoring this motorcycle gas tank. I just picked it up on eBay and it just got here like this. I haven't done any of the Bondo or body filler on it. So we're going to try to finish it up, and as you can tell, it's beat to death. But got it for cheap, and it's a dish tank. I don't even know what it fits. Guy never even listed it, but if anybody knows, you can let me know. But I just bought it because it's a dish tank, petcock in the rear, so we'll see how it goes. But I don't know if I can, I'm sure to get there, but the goal is just to make it look smooth, and I don't know what color I'm going to go with yet. That tank over there, I went with a red pearl over jet black, and it turned out pretty good, but I need to sand it back down. I'm going to do it again, but so we'll see where we get with this tank. Alright guys, got the air sander hooked up and everything. All I'm using is a Harbor Freight D8 style sander, and we're going to be running 80 grit, and everything we'll be using in this video you can buy. I got this down at W&R Paint Supply here in Tennessee, but that's Evercoat. This is really not Bondo, it's you see finishing putty, so it's pretty runny, but everything that, all the big dents on this, they pretty much already filled, minus that one. I guess they missed that, but they still get them flat, so this will work just fine for what we want to do. If you want to fill, if you get this stuff, this stuff's a lot cheaper than normal like Evercoat body filler, but it's more runny. Where Evercoat body filler is like 55 bucks for a tub like this is 15 bucks, so you just gotta layer it a little bit more. But I'd much rather spend $40 less and use that, but it'll work just fine for this. But that peanut tank I got back there that I redone, it had a big dent in the side, and I had to redo it. I went over it about 4 times. I go over it, sand it, go over it, sand it, still low, and I go over it again, and it turned out real good, but I had to do it about 4 different times of that. But for this tank, everything that they've done is still low filling. It's high right here and then low. Like I said, I didn't do any of this, and it looks like they've used 3M Bondo, which I have some of that, but that stuff doesn't have a good finish, so I'd rather not use it if I can get away with it. But so we'll see where we can get. But right now we're gonna start out with 80 grit, eat this surface rust off of it, and probably sand some of this lower than it is, but it's all gonna have to be redone anyway. And I'm sorry for the video quality. I'm filming this on cell phone, so we're doing what we got. But just remember, if you're doing a tank and it's beat up and you're trying to do body filler, you know, you can always redo it. So that's what, I'm in a body shop at work down here, and it's what the guys told me when I started there. They was like, you know, you can't screw it up any worse than it already is. You can always sand it out and redo it. So just don't be scared just to plaster it in there. Just it sands right off. So let's get into it. Okay, so after sanding it, it's pretty much where we're at. Try to get all the surface rust off I could. Of course, you're not going to be able to get it out of them little divots and stuff. But if you have anything like paint or E-coat, if you work at a big plant or stuff like that, that's going to give you a clear indication where all your dents is at. So you can see all the little dings in it. Everywhere there's a dark spot, there's a ding. So, sides are real rough. But I haven't even got in there yet. I'm going to try to work on sanding their Bondo. I don't even know what they've done here, but I'm going to try to work on sanding some of that down. And it's got one little dent out, I noticed, on one of these sides. Where's that? No, that's a dent in, but that kind of looks blown out, but I don't know, it might not be. But that's it so far. I still need to get in there with hand sand all that, but that's got the majority of the rust off and all that, so it's coming along. It's more beat up than I thought it was. I knew it was beat tail in the pictures, but I'd still buy it. I mean, this is like, I think I paid 50 or 55 bucks for it, so that's not terrible. But keep seeing how it's going. So I mean, this is really just a piddle project for me right now anyway, but I need to redo that peanut tank over there. I painted pearl. It's gonna be going on that. So yeah, I mean, it cleaned up okay. So we're just gonna get in throwing some Bondo on it here in a little bit. After I'm gonna try to do a little more hand sand and clean up some of these little divots and stuff. But I think it'd turn out pretty good after it's all Bondoed up, painted, and everything. So see how it turns out. Okay, I got y'all propped up on my little parts right here, but we're just gonna try to get to do some hand sanding on this and see how it goes. But I'm gonna try to get in them little divots a little more stuff, all the little grind marks and stuff. But I started at 80. I'll probably just hand sand it with some 220. See how it goes. Hopefully this tank turns out pretty good. The only reason I bought it is because it was a dish tank and it had a rear petcock so you could mount it with the angle of the frame and get all your fuel out. But hopefully that's filming okay. But that's the best we got right now. So you're really not gonna be able to get into there much. Must take a little Dremel or something in there, and I don't really want to do that and end up almost cutting through the tank. Stick something real rough to it, but it's not too bad. I think the tank's fixable, so I'd like to paint this and then maybe airbrush over it or something. But this is the boring part, so I'll catch back up with you guys when it is time to start Bondoing it.
Okay guys, now I just said in the previous clip I wasn't going to Dremel it out. We're going to see how it goes. We'll try to do the best job we can on this, clean all this stuff out. It's basically a lot of work goes into this. I mean, you pretty much have to do all the time.
Get these gloves too I'm wearing from Harbor Freight. Any paint store's really got this style of glove where it's got a rubber. It kind of keeps the oil from your skins out of it if you're touching it, trying to fill your Bondo spots and stuff. So, and it just, I mean, it keeps your hands clean too. Because Lord knows when you get Bondo and paint all over your hands, it's gonna be there for days. I suppose we will start sanding the inside of these dishes out and try to smooth out the gum that they've made. And go from there. You can hear the sand, or not the sand, but you can hear the rust in the gas tank. Probably try, I've never tried it before, but I've seen people try to pour apple cider vinegar in it and let it sit, or vinegar and water, and I mean, it seems to clean it up pretty good. So, I mean, as long as you clean it up halfway decent and run a fuel filter, I don't really see no problem with it. But we'll see if it gets there. We'll see if it even gets mounted on a motorcycle in the first place, because at the moment, I really don't have anything to put it on. I've already welded that frame over there up for a Sportster peanut tank. So, this will probably go on a project down the road sometime. Unless I end up just really liking this tank after I get done with it. That's where y'all's are sitting too, so great filming quality. But probably just start out with the dishes and sand out their gum. Then after I get done with that, we'll probably end up throwing some body filler everywhere pretty much. I mean, it's practically going to be everywhere because you can still feel where that feels decent besides right here. Right here still feels like a dip. that it's not, it needs to be spreaded over that more. But some of these spots are terrible. But we're going to do a little bit at a time because this whole tank's going to have Bondo all in it. So we'll see how it goes. I opened that last clip when I had it propped up there. It actually worked, but we'll just see where we can get with these. Hopefully this D8 will actually fit in there for the most part to smooth it down, and then I'll end up taking some T20, hand sand that stuff out, I suppose. But for now, we're going to start with 80. So, see where it goes with that. Because I'm going to have to redo what they've done anyway to do what I want to do. So, and most of their spots are still really low, so I'm probably going to end up throwing some body filler on top of what they've already done about everywhere, because a lot of their spots are either low or it doesn't go out far enough, whatever, or it's got like little air pockets in it. That's something real bad with 3M Bondo. I've realized when you mix it, you can't spread that stuff. I mean, it's really hard to spread it. You need a yard rake to spread some 3M Bondo, but it's got little air pockets. If you can see it, it's got little air pockets like that right there, and when you sand it, it leaves a big hole. So if you use something Evercoat's, it's a lot runnier, so it takes multiple times doing it to get perfectly flat, but I'd rather do that than sit there and have air pockets and stuff like that in it where you're going to have holes in it, little pinholes and stuff like that after you get done. But this stuff works really good in my opinion, and I'd recommend it. I'm pretty sure if you don't have a paint shop near you, you can pick it up on eBay. You might pay a premium on eBay for it, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm going to cut my compressor on and start in on that. If you're sanding Bondo, if you're sanding a lot of it, you want to start out with 80 and then finish over at 120 at the end when it's like close to being flat, because 120 builds too much heat and it'll swell the Bondo up, and you can't really, you won't end up being able to, it won't feel flat because it swells the Bondo because too much heat got put in it. If you do sand it on 120, turn your D8 down real low where it's just I mean, barely go over it. Don't go over it with D8 wide open because it's going to put way too much heat in it. See, it's looking better. Better than it was. Not good, but better. Okay, so you guys can kind of see how that side turned out. I'm really just trying to smooth out their gum so I can put more body filler over it, but I'm just going to repeat the same process on this side, and I'll get back with you when it's time to put some body filler in it. Okay, everybody, we're going to start laying our Bondo. Already got the tank blew off and everything, so start playing around with this, see where it goes. All you need, you can get these. I mean, if you're new to Bondo, that's a Bondo spreader. You can get them Harbor Freight wherever, body shop. But I don't have the actual Bondo board. All I'm using is a notebook on a clipboard. It works, so it's a whole lot better than nothing. But we're probably gonna start on the top of this gas tank first, since I don't know, I'm gonna wait on the dishes. I have an idea on what I want to do with the dishes, but I'm not 100%, so we'll see. I'll give that some time, but we're just gonna start Bondoing the top of it, see if we can get it flat. I'm sure it'll take more than one try, so see how it goes and run with it. Nothing you can't sand out, so Bondo's a little thicker than normal today, but it's a little colder today. I think it's like 40 degrees here, so if you're ever Bondoing or put body filler in or whatever and it's a little colder, then just put a little more Bondo, or put a little more hardener in the Bondo. It'll harden up faster. So there's probably a little more than you're supposed to do, but we'll see. Last time I was Bondoing to that, I was putting a little bit in it, but it's also like 70 degrees out, so we'll see how it goes. But I really like this body filler. I mean, I think it's not as good as what we have at work, but it's also $40 cheaper. The Bondo might be just as good, but it's a little more runny, a little harder to work with. But I mean, I can tell like minor differences, but like overall it sands the same, pretty much spread the same, spreads smooth. So get this gum mixed up and going. Pretty much all their spots is low, so I'm just going to literally go over all their spots. But remember, if you're ever bonding on something, say it makes a curve, you want to go with the contour of the bike or car or whatever. I mean, it's pretty much like common sense, but I've seen some people they've hired over there, and it's pretty interesting watching them bondo something. But a lot of this stuff, it's not like super low, but it's hair low. I think just a little bit of work in a lot of places, but never know. I mean, we can always, if it's still low after I sand it, you can always go back over it, so. Just have to see what works and what doesn't. That's about all you got. But if I have any extra Bondo left over, I might put some on the front, but the dishes are definitely going to be last for me. I mean, I will do them in this video, but I don't know if I'm going to make this video a multiple part thing, because I don't feel like somebody wants to sit here. Even if I speed it up, it's still probably like at least 30 minutes, and I don't feel like somebody wants to sit there and watch 30 minutes of me doing this. So I might speed a lot of it up, and put it into different parts. We'll see. See how this goes. This whole tank's practically going to be bondoed. It's so beat up, but we'll have a thin layer over about all of it, I believe. But hey man, it is what it is. It works. I've sanded some Harley tanks down and took them to bare metal because like that's the look I wanted, and had to sand through the whole thing and bondo in it, every bit of it. But it's not that bad of a thing. But that'll probably still end up being low. But we can put some more in it after I sand it. Let's see how it goes. This thing's just so beat up. It's practically gonna be completely bondoed. Okay, I mean it's $50 for the tank and just a fun little side project. If I don't like how it turns out, it's not like you have to use it on anything. So body work is really just sitting here learning and playing with it. That's really all you got to do. But it's definitely probably going to be a multiple day process. Especially the paint, but just even the Bondo, it'll probably be just something I'll piddle on for a little while, and I'll put it all in a little video of some sort or something like that. But tell me that don't look like a gone right there. It's pretty good, doesn't it? I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I thought about starting on the sides, but probably just work with what I got right now on the top. This stuff usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to dry and actually be sandable. But I mean, it's sandable pretty quick after you do it. You don't have to. If it's hot outside, it's definitely quick to start sanding on, and it all depends on how much hardener you put. If you put too much, you'll have it hardened up on your Bondo board before you've even got everything bondoed. But luckily today it's about 40 outside, I think 40, 42, something like that. So something I've noticed too versus working on vehicles versus gas tanks. Gas tanks have a lot more weird bends and angles you have to play around with to actually get it to look right. So throw some in there, I suppose. Little air pocket right there. I'm trying to get out. No, it's not air pocket. It's a little piece of dust or debris of some sort. Bondo, you really just got to play with it and see what works and what doesn't. But I think this tank will turn out pretty well. I'll probably have to Bondo. I mean, it's beat to hell, so probably have to be Bondoed at least 2 or 3 times, but I mean, not bad. Like, they've pretty much put the big amounts of Bondo in it. Really, it just needs a good glazing now of Bondo to even everything out. So, see how it goes. And don't ever, if you're new to bodywork, haven't used Bondo on your putty spreaders, you don't want to take a scrape blade. I've seen people take a little box cutter like a scrape blade and scrape it. If you do that, it'll put tears in your Bondo. You want to keep this smooth. So either wait until it completely cures out on here and bend it and make sure, let it break off, or just wipe it off like I just did. So that's the easiest way. But, we'll see how that turns out though. See if that's pretty flat for the top of it or what. But as you can see, it's a GOM. But if it looks like a GOM, you're doing it right. If it looks like a GOM after you're done, you're not. But it's always gonna look like a GOM when you put it on. But I'll probably wait to do all this. I don't know if I'll do that today or not, so we'll just have to wait and see. But we'll see if that's actually flat. When I mean, I put quite a bit on that, so hopefully it's pretty flat and turns out looking halfway decent. That's all I ask for. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, if you don't get your Bondo perfect, if you're actually using a paint gun to apply like 4-to-1 build-up primer, that build-up primer will build up a lot. Like it'll build up grind marks and very small dings and stuff like that if you lay it on thick. Now, if you're doing like rattle can primer, you'll have to do 3 or 4 coats. This stuff, I like that stuff better, but I don't really like this stuff right here that I bought. Duplicolor. I love Duplicolor's spray paint, but their primer's runny. You can take some Duplicolor color match and stuff like that and paint and clear over like rattle can clear coat hardener, and it turns out pretty good. But it still don't look like you're doing it with actual paint gun, but you know, it's better than nothing. So after this dries and cures out, I'll get back at you. Alright, Bondo's good and cured out now, so we're just gonna see where it takes us, see where this goes. I can't really feel any low spots in it while it's built up, so if I sand it and it's low, it's probably me sanding too much out, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm learning. You're learning with me, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna start with 80, and then after I'm pretty happy with where it's at, leave it a little bit high, I'll probably go back over it with 120 or 180, smooth it out, and then before I paint it, I'll hand sand it after it's primed to 220. But for now, we're just gonna leave it a little rougher. So I'm gonna go flip the compressor on and get at it. See how that's turning out. I'm not gonna make y'all suffer through sitting here watching me sand it all down, but I'll do a video after it's all sanded. But we're just gonna sit here and go back and forth with that process till we can get it fairly flat. So I'll get back with you after it's sanded down. Okay guys, this is where we got with it today. after sanding all the Bondo down, I need to go back through here and touch this up, scrape some of that off. But overall, it's a good start for it. I mean, it's fairly smooth. I'll definitely go back over it again with a thin coat of body filler, and then it was probably 120 or 180. But that's the top of the tank done. I think that's all I'm gonna do for today. Probably back at it tomorrow or Wednesday. It's supposed to be warmer Wednesday and Thursday, so I'm wanting to paint that peanut tank again. But overall, it's turning out pretty good. So just needs a little more Bondo and some light sanding on top of it. So, but that's about it. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. See you.